You are now listening to Puff Puff Sass.
Welcome to the show, guys. Enjoy it. Welcome to the show, guys. This is Puff Puff Sass, and we are two black women in STEM covering everything from daily life to cultural happenings. And I am your host, Yvonne Vidal.
I'm your host, Mars Gray. Let's get into it.
All right. So this is the first recording of our Puff Puff Sass, and we're so excited to be here.
Super excited. It's long overdue.
Yes.
We've been talking about it since January 2018.
All year. This has been goals.
We said we're going to do it. We're going to do this 2018. We did it before 2019, so we could check it off the list.
Yes, we most definitely did. It's not going to be a New Year's resolution for 2019.
No,
We're
done.
forecasting.
We did it. We did it. 2018, we did it. Done. Check it off.
Done. All right. But I think what was really cool, we touched on this a little earlier offline, was that we actually made the time to make this happen. And I think that that's setting the pace for 2019. Because there are probably a lot of things that we want to do, a lot of things that we want to accomplish, places that we wanted to go. And there's something to be said about taking the time to make things happen for yourself in your life. And this is just one instance of us doing that. So it's pretty exciting.
Looking back at 2018, Yvonne, like, what were your highlights and opportunities?
Whoa. Loaded question. Highlights of the year. Just as we wrap up the year, I'll definitely say promotion at work, if we can talk about things like that. That was a huge highlight because the entire year I wove myself into this like women in leadership network within our organization, and I took that very wholeheartedly. And I believe that women should definitely stand up and speak up for their place. I don't know if that's like a PC thing to say, but
as Michelle said, that shit don't work.
There you go. But like definitely speaking up for yourself and where you envision yourself growing in your career. So that was a huge thing for me this year. So I would say that. And that took the entire year, I feel like, because there was a lot of learning. I do my best to stay focused on like the technical aspects of my job and not necessarily do all of the extra stuff. The extracurricular things are just for me to be free, not so much for professional development. So yeah, I think that was my biggest thing for the year.
All right.
Yeah.
Right.
What about you?
Whew. You know.
You were doing a lot.
You know what? 2018. It's rounding out. As we're on the cusp of 2019, it's rounding out to be a damn good year.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of highs.
Mm-hmm.
There were some lows. There were tears, but. Stronger for it. Like things at work, got really good, and I'm really excited about the direction my career is going in. And in my personal life, broken engagement.
Yes.
But it was a great thing. And so I'm a very spiritual person. I'm into like spirituality and meditation and chakras and crystals and energy in the universe and all that weird kooky stuff.
And it's not witchcraft.
It's not witchcraft. But there's a thing when you're talking about just like consciousness and enlightenment. The universe. There's like periods of uncertainty, and and from what I've read and understand and lived, is that in moments of great uncertainty, you should actually be excited, at least embrace it, because then it's like anything can happen.
Yeah, things are shaking up.
Things are shaking
know
up.
You're gonna end up,
and
just like hold on and be ready for the ride.
Absolutely. There was a period of darkness. Things are definitely shaking up. But it was for the better. Like the saying goes, you want something you've never had, you have to do something you've never done. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I'm in position and in alignment to do those things I have not done, that I would like to do, that I could not have done had this life change and have taken place. Life changes. So I mean, in short, 2018 has been great, and I am looking forward to 2019. Like, it's really like a blank page, and I'm super excited about it.
Oh my gosh, I feel like you use a lot of really good keywords in there, like alignment. No, it's so important, and I feel like sometimes we maybe look over things like that. Having a good core group of people around you can also help you come into alignment.
Absolutely. Yeah.
As you were saying, like stepping away from work and looking at your personal life. I took a look at, what else happened this year. And ETG, Empowerment Through Golf, was like a huge thing for us this year. And then for us to do or accomplish like pulling off this golf tournament that we did. And I couldn't have done it by myself. Right, so the alignment there, like the alignment with the key people on my team, who, in part, I feel like they're part of my family right now.
No, absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, like the people in your life right now, they're supposed to be there.
Yeah.
I deeply and truly believe that. Like, and people that have gone, like they say, everything has its season.
Seasons.
So,
yeah.
I mean, everything has its season. That's all. We'll keep it at that. 2018, I wouldn't change a thing about 2018.
Good.
So, Yvonne, this is our first podcast episode.
Yes. Hurrah,
hurrah.
Yes.
So, let's kick it off, with you sharing a little bit about yourself, where you're from. You have a lovely accent. I'm sure everyone's dying to know, like, where is this girl from? Where the girl from? That was probably terrible. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Okay.
So without giving too much away, I was born in Antigua and Barbuda, big up. And then I moved to the Virgin Islands. I went to 8th grade through high school in St. Croix. And I love St. Croix. It's like, I claim St. Croix mostly as home. More so than anywhere else in the world. Love that place. And then ended up in Pennsylvania for college and now San Diego. And San Diego is the new home. So loving it.
Like, that's just so awesome. Like, every time I hear that, it's so awesome. I mean, because it's like this little girl growing up in Antigua, St. Croix.
Yeah, small islands.
But then, like, here she is, like, she's going to college in America. And now, like, she's here in San Diego, like, doing her thing. And it's just so inspiring. Like, I remember when I first met you.
No.
And you were telling me you're from Antigua. I was like, how you get off the island? Like,
a boat? No.
I mean, like, it's
no,
just
kidding.
like, I mean, it's just so inspiring.
Yeah, and it's funny because you see it as inspiring, and for me, I'm just like, okay, well, that's just life.
Yeah.
It's something that I felt like I had to do. Like, I feel like a lot of people from the Caribbean keep moving. We don't really stay on one island. We don't really stay in one place. Your family may be core in one island, but for advancement, I think movement is something that we're accustomed to.
Yeah.
And so I think as soon as we left Antigua, I knew like that's not it for me.
Right.
And I think my dad.
Oh yeah,
pretty much. Like,
tell me about your dad.
That.
I was about to say, like, that story it's like your dad had a plan.
He had the vision.
Like,
oh my goodness.
I mean, like, yeah. Do you want to like?
I'll share. My dad is my angel now, And what I can remember growing up is that, we would be in Antigua and he played golf. So, I started tagging along onto the golf courses with him and then got into the junior program. And from the time he realized that that's what I wanted to do, he was like, okay, well, look at, all the big names: Phil Mickelson, Tiger Woods, Lorena Ochoa, Annika Sorenstam, all of the big names. Like, this is something that you can potentially do with your life as well. And you hold on to these dreams when you're young and you see it and you're like, okay, this is what I want to do with my life. And I think at first it was golf and business, and then it turned into golf and sciences. And when we moved away from from Antigua, and the next step was St. Croix, I knew the next step would be like to go off to college in the States and potentially pursue either like a golf career or a science career. And then I just decided it's going to be both, right?
And it is both. I can confirm it's both.
That's my life.
It's both.
Yeah. And still to this day, I'm in awe of what my dad was able to picture for my life and try to set
and
up.
manifest.
Yes. And look at this today. Like, I can't take any credit, I'm just like going through it.
I mean, you should take credit.
Yeah.
You should take credit. I mean, because, like your dad had a plan. He could lead you to it. He could tell you how to do it. But you would have to have it in you to want to see that through. Yeah. Because you think about how many other people, like their parents, like kind of set them up for success and they just like squander it.
Yeah.
Because they're just like not in that headspace. It's just not. It's not who they are.
That's true, I guess. But
you've really
it.
No, you're in it and you're doing it, and I think it's
love
amazing.
it.
It's amazing. Like, it's so amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so now I'm like kind of ignorant. I'm about to show my ignorance.
You are not.
In this. But like, okay, and like the Caribbean, Caribbean or Caribbean? Let's solve for this now.
Debate. You want to do this like on
let's
the mic
do this
now?
right now. Like you're recording on record.
I say Caribbean, and only because
Caribbean.
Yeah, so because the Caribs and the Arawaks were the two like native Indians in the islands, and so I believe like the term Caribbean came from the Carib Indians. So that's what I say. If you want to be cute, you could say Caribbean. It just like rolls off the tongue nice. I don't know.
But it's like I have to say it right. You know, like isn't I don't want to be loud and wrong.
No, it's fine. Either way, it's fine. I feel like if you were go to the islands, anything you say, people would accept it. Like, we know what you're trying to say. We know what it is.
I know. Like, I got you, boo.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So tell us about growing up in the Carolinas.
Oh, Lord.
Yes.
Well, so I actually didn't grow up in North Carolina. My family is from North Carolina. So my father is in the Air Force and career Air Force. And so we moved around a lot. But I spent the most time in Germany. My formative years came of age, so to speak, there. And when I went off to college, we were still living there. So, in between breaks, that's where I would go home. But I went to college in North Carolina, and
so you came back home.
I didn't. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so, and it was strange for me. And actually, I wanted to go to Howard. That was like my number one like dream school. But my parents, just because of the way like I grew up, they were like, well, like you might have a little culture shock, and that kind of meant like you'll be around too many black people. We've sheltered you, and it wasn't on purpose, like, but we don't think you're ready. Like, sweetheart, you need to ease into it, is what they wanted to say.
Yeah.
So I ended up going to, a predominantly white institution, PWI. And it was hard. I was such a dork. Like, I didn't know I thought I was black until I went to college and I was around like other black kids. And I just felt like so ashamed of like what I didn't know.
Well, because you grew up in a different country too, so.
But well, and the thing was, like, I mean, like, and there were other like black, kids. Like, I had black friends, of course, but it's like most of them kind of grew up like me, kind of like in this like bubble, and I feel like a lot of what I learned from blackness was what. I mean, there's the blackness of your family, like the communal sense, and like their shared black experiences, like being spanked, and like watching like those great like black movies, and like grandma's cooking, and like things like that, like culturally. But then just like the social side, like I couldn't use slang. Like people would say, Shade, don't say that. Like you can't say that. Like I feel like now it's more natural, but like I'd be like, girl,
bye.
No, like no, you didn't. Like girl, but it's like I wanted to talk. Like I want it. Like I don't know. And I mean, it's like But more important, what I learned though, and what I feel like most people, and outside of blackness, they assume that because you're black,
like you fit into this.
Exactly. Right. You can navigate it.
Yeah.
You can navigate it.
Yep.
But I'll admit, like, I would be more nervous in a room full of black people than a room full of white people, because I knew how to navigate a room full of white people.
Yeah,
a room full of black people, they know, like they just know,
they
see through it. Like it's just like,
yeah,
you know what, like, and I just wasn't cool. Like I'm just such a dork. I mean, and in school, I was like this little book nerd, and I played sports, and it's like I was kind of like the lovable, adorkable, that was my personality. So it's like I was kind of cool. I was cool with everybody, but yeah, when I got to college, it was tough. But I did find, my tribe. And I was able to grow and be me. And it just so happened that, like, my tribe of folks were, like, engineers. And, like, they were also the outcasts.
Yeah, they spoke a different language.
And that's where we bonded.
Yeah.
Where they looked at me and they thought, like, oh, she seems, like, cool. And I looked at them and they were like, oh, they're just as awkward as me. So it's like, that's where we,
Is that why we're friends?
Truth comes out. No, we're friends because we both have puffs.
Yes.
That's why we're friends. So we both have natural hair at a white company.
Yes.
So it was like, oh, girl, I like your puff. I like your puff
okay,
too.
I love that big hair, girl.
What you use care too? This is not a paid for.
No sponsorship here.
No sponsorships.
Okay.
But yeah, so and that's how we bonded. It's like we were the outcasts in a way, a little socially awkward, but we were able to grow and, get outside of ourselves. And I'm more comfortable now, a lot more comfortable. But college just gave me that space to grow. And I guess the most important lesson that I can take from that, and like anyone else outside of the culture can take from that, and anyone else that's happens to be of the black diaspora and feels like they don't fit into that, is, and we talked about this in college, like the black race is not a monolithic race, and that's where people get it wrong. We each have different life experiences and we're into different things. So just like, I don't know, just some of these stereotypical things that have kind of been ingrained. And even like what's projected in the media, you sometimes when you see an image of yourself on TV, sometimes you might think like, oh, I guess like I'm supposed to know that. Be that. Yeah.
It's not everyone though.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. It's like cherry picking what this should be, what this should look like. And it's not reality. I mean, I even hear from like I've even heard like black people, Latinx people, and they talk about how, the image of the Latinx person is this like looks like Sofia Vergara, or like,
Yeah, but like Latin people look like
everybody. It's like
they really do.
It's like there's race and there's nationality, and actually there's not even really race, social construct.
Yeah.
But the point is, like, you can look like me, and chocolate,
yeah.
and speak Spanish, speak French,
yeah,
speak Italian,
speak multiple
languages.
Yeah, I wish I was one of them, but I'm not. Yeah.
I mean, so in a nutshell, that's kind of like shaped my worldview. I'm just an imperfect person on a journey to fulfill, my cosmic mission. So, if that wasn't weird enough for you.
No, it's fine.
Like,
it's like whatever you need it to be, or whatever you feel like your mission is, your calling is, then, that's what you go for. That's what you aspire towards.
Yeah.
Everybody's mission is different. So just keeping in line with that, we're forecasting for 2019, and I think this is a good time to project things. We're on the spiritual realm, so like we're projecting it into the universe, things that we would like to manifest for our lives in 2019 and beyond, potentially. So what sort of seeds are you planting right now that you hope that will blossom next year?
There's quite a few.
That's a good thing.
I was about to say, but that's a good thing. But I think primarily just practicing more gratitude. When you can really sit and just be grateful for what you have and just appreciate what you have and where you're at and how far you've come. There's just so much joy in that. Like I sometimes, I just look around like my apartment and I'm just like, wow, like I did this by myself. You know what I mean? Like I'm doing this by myself. I think about, the little girl growing up, middle child of 5 children.
Yeah, we never really do it
That's
on
true.
our own.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Actually, that's true. We never really do it on our own. You're right.
Yeah.
This place that I've been guided to.
Yes. You're calling on all of the powers that are around you.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I'm grateful for it. That, that I've been able to, provide for myself and do for myself. Yeah. It's just so satisfying.
Yeah. I think next year we're going to just see like a huge journey from you, like a huge spiritual growth.
Speak it.
Yeah.
I receive it.
Yes. Blessings. Oh, I honestly sense it. I feel like that's the path that you're going on for next year, and it will continue. I feel like this is just a beginning. It's like the awakening of Mars Gray, and she's coming out.
Oh, no, thank you. It's funny though. So, like I said, I had a broken engagement this year, but because like it was actually a good thing. Like I, and you probably saw this at work, but it was funny because like people I know, they were almost like, they're like, wow, like this broken engagement is like looking really good on you.
Person.
Like,
yeah.
Like I had a colleague, she's like, I want to say like, go girl, but like
I don't know if it's that right.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
And but people just kept telling me like they feel like I've just like, just like come out of the shell and like just glowing, like happy, joyful. I mean, that's a good thing because like, I mean, and like when we were talking about earlier, like, you have a choice. We own our feelings. Yes. Remember that. You own your feelings. You cannot control what happens to you, but you can control the response.
Most definitely.
And it's like, it could have, sad about me. Or, yeah,
She did that.
No, right. Like, back in fighting shape,
Yes.
in alignment with self, and just, no, and like, people, like, my energy just shifted. And actually, it was the shifting of my energy that let me know that it was for the better. And
it was time.
It was time. And just being grateful for moments like that and just appreciating that. And I feel like just being present. I'm going to practice being more present, especially present in like joyful moments and just kind of like relish, like feeling good. Like sometimes like we don't stop enough to really relish and like the feel goods and
enjoy it.
Exactly.
And those are the moments that help you lengthen your life.
Yeah.
Right? As opposed to like holding on to the stressful things and the sad things. Like, oh, what was me?
Absolutely.
No, you're killing yourself.
No. Yeah, like life's too short.
Yeah.
Life's too short. Be happy.
Agreed.
Yeah, so I feel like, so just practicing more gratitude and present moment awareness. Those are my big kind of canopy of goals. I'm open to receiving, other paths and opportunities, to be guided in. So that's what I'm looking forward to. So, and how about you?
Yeah, wow, a lot. Yeah, because I don't really keep still. I could definitely relate to where you are right now, because I think that was me 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago. And
did you just hear that shade?
It's that not was, shade.
Like, that was shade. Like,
no.
That was so shady. Okay, I see what we're doing.
No,
all right.
No,
all right.
What I'm saying is... you're gonna get past it. And you're gonna come out on the other side and you're gonna be much better. And like you're already there, right?
Wow, work in progress.
It like I don't even remember how the saying goes, but like the first step to get past denial is accepting, right?
No, acceptance.
Yeah, like, so you're already accepting the reality of the situation. You're accepting, hey, I need to be more present. Hey, I need to be more grateful. And once you accept it and you speak those things, they come into your life.
Because there's no resistance.
Exactly.
You either resist it or you accept it.
Or allow it.
And when you accept it, there's no resistance and anything is possible.
Exactly. So you're going to be good. Yeah.
We're both going to be good. We're all going to be good. If you're listening, you're going to be good too.
You're going to be good. And then you can keep setting your goals and moving forward. Yeah. 2019, what am I looking forward to? Just more growth. I think that this year was a lot of seed planting. I got a lot of really great people connected to the visions that I have for my life. And I can't even believe that these people exist in the world, and they're here and they're next to me, and I just have so much open space and freedom to express the thoughts and things that I see for myself and my life, and not even just for me, but being able to also create a space of opportunity for other people. And like it's a little surreal how things are happening right now. And I think that my goal is just to be able to keep the flow going, keep the synergy going, don't lose momentum.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm looking forward to. And there's a lot of partying in there because I love fests.
Some partying in there,
You know, you have to live it up a little bit. Yeah.
We out here.
Yeah, we out here. We study hard. We work hard. Definitely one of the things that I want to do for this year is not work as hard. I overwork. I overwork. And it's not healthy. I know it's not. I feel like there is a known balance. Like somebody has a secret out there as to what the balance is between work life and personal life. Excuse me. And I definitely have a social life outside of work. Sometimes I'm like, okay, tone it down a little bit. And just focus on work. And then there are other times where I'm like, wow, you're giving work like your whole life. Scale it back.
Yeah.
You know, and so just finding continued balance in the day to day, I think would be very important for myself moving forward, my mental health, my physical health moving forward.
Well, you know, just to kind of touch on that. So there was it was a video I was watching. It was talking about work-life balance and challenging that notion to actually call it work-life fit. Because
where there is no balance.
Because let's accept that acceptance. There's no balance. Especially in today's workforce.
Yeah, it comes in waves.
It does. It comes in waves, which is the fit.
Yeah, okay.
And so the fit is, you know what, right now, these are my priorities. This is what I'm doing. You know what, sometimes work might be a little heavier at some points. But, you know, you're consciously fitting in kind of like that self-care.
Yeah.
And those things that keep you grounded and just together. And like you said, like it fluctuates. You know, like I guess it's good when it kind of, the scale kind of tips in favor of
social life.
But and right now, I mean, that's just not the reality right now.
Yeah.
But I feel like for the average person, I think it is kind of a game of work-life fit, and you know, and that makes the notion more digestible. It helps me accept that, you know, like it's not me, it's not something that I'm doing wrong. It's just that just depending on where you're at in your life or what you're focused on, like some things are going to get more or less of your attention. So and that's why and just in connection to that, that's why I just feel like it's you know, like focus is a big thing actually, and that's probably another thing I need to add to my list for 2019 is just, you know, being more focused and more intentional. I feel like with focus and intention, then you're also gonna make best use of your time.
That's very true. And we should probably say, without giving too much away, a little bit about the industry that we work in. Both of us work in the world of STEM, and you know, technology moves fast, and you want to keep up all the time. There's always something new to learn, and keeping up with competitors and new science and big science. You know, sometimes you may not even understand it all, but you still have to keep up and try to learn, and keeping yourself educated while working and staying in the know. You know, those are the things that really take up a lot of the time, I feel.
Right. And you know, being in a industry that's driven by technology, I feel like it's imperative that you stay fresh, sharp, ahead of the curve, forward thinking.
Yeah.
It's your edge, it's your reputation, and you know, we work with a lot of really smart people.
Yeah.
So which even in itself, it's something to, you know, just express gratitude for, that, you know, like we
most definitely
get to meet so many interesting, intelligent
brilliant
people. Yeah, brilliant people.
They just keep pushing you.
Yeah. You're like, dang, man, I just
read these 150 pages real quick.
I'm like, let me Google.
No. Take this next class.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a place that it pushes you, inspires you to want to be your best self. That's for sure. So
Yeah, and then so what about when you want to be your best self, or you want to see your best self in your workplace, but you're not able, or you don't see that manifesting in the way that you envision it. So how does that work out for you?
So I think in general, because I've been working a little while now, we ain't gonna go into exact years. It's none of your business.
Nanya.
None yet. But I just think in general, and just like looking over my career history, if I felt like I wasn't exactly where I was going, a direction I was heading in, again, it's stepping outside of the comfort zone and doing something a little different. So like I've always been the kind of person, even like from a young age, even in school, where it's like I get bored very easily. And I need like new challenges. If I'm not being challenged, then I can check out. And so for me, to keep from feeling stagnant, I have to seek out new challenges. So I'm kind of on this cusp, millennial. So I'm a millennial, but but I very much, but I have older brothers, and that I guess would technically be part of Generation X, and then like my parents, were a little younger, so I guess they were like at the top of Generation X, but the way that I saw the workforce was, promotions, it's where it's at. Like I'm not going anywhere, and I'm not doing anything unless I'm going up, 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 up. But that's kind of flattened out a little bit. And where we think of a career ladder, it's kind of become more of a career lattice. Mm. And so if I'm not moving up, then it's like, where can I spread myself to just take on new skills?
Yeah.
In the meantime,
until the next
step. Until that next step.
Yeah.
Because honestly, like a promotion is not always possible, because sometimes there has to be a need for a position at that
business case.
A business case for that.
Yeah. And
sometimes it might, like, the next step for you, somebody's already in it, and they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So sometimes like, unless you want to go to a new company, like that's one solution. But if you like where you're at, things are good where you're at, then you have to think about, okay, like how can I just like broaden my experience? How can I, dabble in this and learn more about that, and how can I get involved with this and that? And so you kind of have to get a little creative, but you also have to be in an environment that supports that. And I feel like, where we are, they're supportive of it.
Yeah.
But again, it's about being intentional and focused. And the more that you're able to state that your intention, you're able to state that intention, I feel like people are able to help, versus me, well, I don't know, and because you can't really help that.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, but if you're focused, you can help. People can help you define and carve out.
Yeah, if they can see part of the vision.
Exactly, they can help you fill it in or get there.
Yeah.
But it's like, but you have to kind of know, okay, like, what does that next step for me look like? If I can't go here, what else might I like to do?
Yeah.
What skill set do I not have? So that's kind of how I navigate that. And that kind of thing can turn into new opportunities.
Yeah.
So that's, like, so I wouldn't like roll out, kind of like the lateral opportunities if it's not the traditional progressing upward.
And just to piggyback off of what you're saying there, broadening your experiences in a lateral sense, I think from my experience, what I've done is doing that outside of work also helps bring that or foster it into work, or I can see the growth happening within my current role. I do a lot of extracurricular organizational work in the local community here in San Diego, a lot of different organizations, volunteering and giving of my time to different companies, whether it be mostly in like the event spaces. And I think just like the type of creative thinking that I'm able to do there, and then in volunteer sort of service to other organizations where I can bring in the sports element, and sports event creation. Those are paths that are also very entertaining to me or interesting to me. It's like part of like my passion.
Right, yeah.
And I'm able to fuel them as I step away from the more corporate role because I'm not able to fulfill those things there. But all of that, I think, long term will build me into the person that I know that I want to be, and shape the career that I would like to have for myself long term. So I think it's really important to touch on being able to do things, multiple things, while you're in one position with the intent of growing and moving to the next step. I think that is huge, and I think that we should never take an oversight on that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It all comes back to like the whole person. And you have to feed both sides.
Yeah, you can't just kill one part of your creative elements and just focus on what other people want you to do.
Right.
You know, because at the end of the day, when that job isn't there, you know, what are you going to do? Like that, yes, you definitely have these definite skill sets that can take you further. But if you wanted to pursue something else that's more aligned with your passion,
Right.
if you haven't been feeding those things the entire way through, it will be a lot more difficult for you. And also to always encourage people who come into the corporate work structure with an entrepreneurial mind, never to lose that spirit, because that helps you drive innovation within a company. It keeps you very much like ahead of the curve within your group or within your team, when you can keep the long-term vision of your organization, your small organization within the larger organization at the forefront. Because there's something to be said about the entrepreneurial mind within the corporate structure, because you're not waiting for somebody to tell you to do this, or waiting for someone to tell you to try this. You know, it's a very creative sort of like go-getter, like, okay, well, you know, I see something here that could be improved.
Right.
Let me go forward and like at least make an attempt to make an improvement, or you know, in my small way I can make a change, and then see what the impact is within like the long-term goals of the project, etc. So things like that, I think, all feed into your current role. And if you can spot things like that, like it definitely helps you advance and move forward in the same thought of what you were saying, of the having the career lattice in the forefront. And yeah, experience growing up is a little different from mine, because my parents, you know, in the Caribbean, it's like not really a huge corporate structure anywhere that you are working. It's everybody's like in business for themselves,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know?
Right. Yeah.
So like that's all I
Like,
saw
well,
growing
I
up.
guess I'll do this. Sure.
Like
no
you
one
have,
else is doing it.
exactly.
Sorry.
You need to have your own, or like you're working in like tourism industry. So like that's probably like the most corporate thing that we have is tourism. But apart from that, you know, or if you're working in government, you know, but everybody else is, you know, you have like your small mom and pop, like you would say it here, but everybody else is in business for themselves, and that's what you learn growing up. And you have to have your trade, know how to do something really well. And so so another conversation that we were having offline, like, you can be the boss, but boss of what? You need to know something,
right?
Yeah. And then so in like our line, if you know your technology and things like that, then you know, then you can, that can take you very far.
Now, if I may be ignorant, Um,
Yeah.
so growing up in the Caribbean, and now like just going back to like you, for instance, in your experience, how like you came to America, is that something that's like atypical?
I would say it is typical if you have the opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there may be a lot of people who may want to move
Mm-hmm.
away, who may not have the like access,
Yeah.
right? And nobody has seen them in that light or their family, and they probably haven't received that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
But if someone um, within like your space was able to find an opening for you,
Yeah.
then you most definitely take that opportunity.
No, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily like you don't always have to come to the U.S. There are people who go off to the UK and they study abroad
Mm-hmm.
on
Mm-hmm.
that side,
Right, right.
because Antigua was British, right?
Right,
So
yeah.
there's a lot of British lineage there. So you can either go to England or you try to come to the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah.
Interesting. No, it. No, I mean it kind of. So I saw the musical Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I, I live for Hamilton. Like I can listen to the soundtrack over and over and over again. That's how annoying I am with it. But like in his story, like he, was growing up in the Caribbean, but everyone recognized how smart and, like resourceful he was. So it's like and this is like going off of the song. Like that's my education on Hamilton. Is Lin Manuel Miranda's like loose interpretation of
Funny.
Hamilton's story. Yeah, it's like it took up a collection just to send him to the mainland, which because they were like like this guy's smart. Like we're gonna send you to America. You're gonna go somewhere. You're gonna be somebody. Um, and so I was just kind of wondering, just like how like how yeah, how typical or atypical is that? Because again, like to me, like it just sounds amazing. And when like anybody that's not that's someone that's not from a land that goes to a new land just in search of like
Like new
opportunity.
opportunities.
It's
Yeah.
it's amazing. Like and it just takes great courage and faith.
Yeah, I feel like it, not to like overshadow any of that, but the face of the world is changing
Yeah,
as well, right? So people are traveling a lot more. People
that's
are kind of
true.
more open.
The world is smaller.
Yeah, it
You're
is a
right.
lot smaller, so it may sound like something like really tremendous. Like, wow, you left this small island and you come all the way over here. But in reality, it's like, yeah, I catch a flight, and I sign up for this school and I'm here and I catch another flight. Now I'm in this other place and I'm working.
Oh, but I mean, like there's people here in America that don't like go to the schools you went to. You know what I mean? It's like they've been here.
Yeah.
Like
Facts.
facts.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just I don't know. I just get excited about that. Just like
Yeah, it's exciting. And recently I've been looking back at the schools that I went to, and I get to see like, because like now they're using like social media a lot more, like Facebook and things like that.
yeah,
So they post a lot more about the students and like what's happening in the high school. And I look at these children and I'm like, wow, these kids, they're gonna kill it. Like when they come up to college,
right.
they are going to kill it, because I can only imagine. I probably don't even think that I took advantage of like all the opportunities that were laid out in front of me. And if in like the way of natural progression, more opportunities are going to be opening up for people. And if these students are in the position where I could potentially envision where I was at that time, and they have more that are in front of them, more things on their plate, just imagine, like what their life is going to be like. Exactly. So I'm excited for them.
Yeah.
I think, and a lot of people are like in like positions like myself, or maybe even like higher, older people, like past generations, are looking back more at the islands and like, okay, we need to make a path for the youth
Right.
so that they come up and then they have things to
Right.
do, and so that they're able to support themselves, support their families, and things like that. So the future is bright, I think.
And it's in, and just so going back to, the point that you just made there, saying how, like, yeah, it's commendable, but it's not a tremendous feat just because the world has changed. I get that. Like, even like when I look at like kids today, I studied media in school. Like kids today, like they're able to just like whip out their phones and like film and edit on their MacBook and or on their phones, make shorts and music videos and like all these like exactly like because I like lived and breathed this stuff when I was like that age. Like I would like in high school we had a video production class. I would be there until like 10 o'clock at night, just like in the editing room.
In high school?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was obsessed with it.
Okay.
I loved it. And which is why I wanted to go to Howard, because they had like a good like media school. But and I was just like, wow. Clearly, that's not the industry I'm in today, but it still has a place in my heart. But I think like if I had these things at my fingertips at that age, where I just had nothing but time, you know what I mean?
Just imagine.
I'm like, dang, like, who could I have been? Like, what could I have been? And it's like, even like with internships, those internships weren't paid. Mama had to work. You know what I mean? Like, and there's probably excuses because other people have paid way. I think for 2019, I might try and get back into it.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
Put it out there.
Put it out there. Because like it is that simple. I'm like, man, like it's so easy now for kids, and I'm like, but wait, you can do it.
You have
too.
the access to.
You have a phone. You have a computer. You have the resources.
The tools.
Resources.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
maybe the time.
Just is the time, carving out the time.
See?
But you like intention, focus to create that time, create that fit.
Mm-hmm.
No, just fit. Like the exposure, the things that kids have exposure to, because like cinema, I love some cinematography. I can Google a cinematographer and I can read all about them, read about their backgrounds and like where they went to school, all this like crazy stuff, and kind of follow their career. We were the beginning of that. So it's like I could see the names of the cinematographers, but it's like that's kind of where it stopped.
Yo, you just brought me back to a time where it was so funny. I was probably in like 5th or 6th grade or something like this. And this is when like computers were beginning to be a thing back in the islands. And then my dad is like, okay, well, you're going to need a computer for school, right? And I'm like, yeah. No, but then he worked so hard and then he get this computer, and then like we didn't have no internet. So so it's like
it's broken.
I can't really do much with this, but it's so funny, but just like doing your best like to give people like the tools and the resources so that they can get where they need to go.
Right.
But yeah, that was like way off.
No, that was like a nice.
It was a nice gesture. Yeah. Like he was really trying his best, but then I still had to just like go back to like the regular encyclopedias. Like, my dad bought this like encyclopedia, said like what was it? Teaching young students how to read or something like that. Like this we had 24 piece or
Encyclopedia Britannica,
something like that. And so, like every day he came home from work, he's like, oh yeah, did you read something from the encyclopedia today? I was like, Daddy, nobody don't read no encyclopedia. That's only when you need to do research.
Right. Like, I'm going to the bathroom. Let me grab this.
Let me just grab this.
It's like AIDS.
Like, yeah, I remember the pictures too. So yeah, just like old school internet, I guess, the encyclopedia.
Yeah, I mean, like, just the access to knowledge just like blows my mind.
Yeah. So my friend came out the other day to visit, and one thing that I noticed that she does anytime that she doesn't know something, she's like, oh, what was that? Oh, hold on. Let me just like Google it real quick. And the simplest thing, right? Like we always have our phones.
Always.
But and like that's not something that I do on a daily. I'm like, oh, well, maybe when I go home, I'll look it up.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I'll be relaxing and I want to look up something. But if I don't know the answer to something right away,
you don't feel compelled to, like, I gotta find
pull
out right
out
now.
my phone and just, like, Google search. But it's just, we have it at our fingertips, so why not?
Why not? No, you're right.
So I've been trying to practice doing that, but yeah.
See, I respect that you don't, because it's almost because you're...
Figure it out.
I mean, because we're so like reliant on our phone. But see, it's not even it's just I guess it's just the access to information.
Yeah.
I mean,
it can go a lot of different ways.
It can. Like, there's the, oh wait, like, how do you do X, Y, and Z? I have to stop and like Google how to do it. Okay, got it. And there's the wait. Oh wait, was Gabrielle Union dating?
Oh,
like,
please.
so it's like
Gabrielle Union. Yeah,
and it's like it's kind of what are we spending our time on?
Exactly. Like, you have the resources now. What are you using it for?
Yes.
And then also to go back to the point that you were making, like, hey, I have all of these things now. I could be doing so much more X, Y, Z.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes, like, you have everything, but then you become stagnant. Like, it's like sometimes maybe overwhelming. Like, oh geez, like I have so much, there's so many different, where do you even go?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Or you take it for granted. Like, I look at my sister, I'm 8 years older than her. She's never known the world without computers. When she was born, like, we had a desktop. I remember before computers and after computers. In school, they used calculators. I mean, we did in high school, but they were like in elementary school and middle school, like, using calculators. I'm like, what? Like, I mean, but like, it's
like
just
a longhand,
right? And it's just so like, wait. Speaking of which, I mean, not to change the subject. Kids don't learn cursive anymore.
They don't.
Like, that blew my mind.
Yeah,
like,
if you write cursive, people watch you like, that's so old school.
Like, I'm like,
what?
Like, excuse me? Because like I was talking to someone, like,
and the way they learn multiplication is like really weird now.
How do they learn it?
It's like they do all of this like addition, so like they break down. So if you're multiplying like 200 by like 10 or something, they teach you to like add the zeros, add the tens, or like add the ones, add the tens.
I'm already lost.
Right?
I mean, yeah, I'm just kidding.
I saw this video.
I'm checking out. Still made for me. They ain't got it. I ain't got it.
I don't know how they expect like, and the attention span is so much shorter. Like, how do these kids even keep up?
Do that.
Yeah. There was like a side-by-side video the other day where like this one teacher's like teaching it like the new version, and then somebody else does multiplication in like the old school version, and they do the old school version does it in like a minute, and then she's off. She's like feeding her dog. She's like walking her dog. Like, she's doing chores, and then they're still there trying to like figure out what this multiplication
ain't got no time.
I don't know. It's different.
Yeah, like very different.
Yeah,
because I was talking to some colleagues, and she was like, yeah, like if I write something in cursive, my son has no idea like what it says. And I was like, oh, she's joking. And she's like, no, like they don't teach them cursive.
No.
And I asked like a couple of people, I was like, wait, does your kid know cursive? Does your kid know cursive? They're like, no, they don't. There's like, they have no idea. And these kids like 17, like 15, 10, 7. Like, we took penmanship. When I was in kindergarten, I remember what was it, kindergarten? I don't know, maybe like 3rd grade, 2nd grade.
Like, you had those books with like the dash lines.
With the dash lines. And you did the print.
Yep.
And then you did the cursive. Yes. Yeah. Like I live for cursive. Like, I'll start writing in print, and then it's like halfway in, or like a third of the way in, like it's like gone to like cursive. And I'm like, I'm writing like a psycho. But
right, so many different styles.
But it just blows my mind that they're not writing cursive anymore. They don't have to. Like, it's, yeah. Wait, multiplication. Wait. When you learn counting, do they still do like the dots?
Which
Did
dots?
you learn like that? Like a number 4, it would have like a dot at the 2 dots at the top, and then 2 dots.
Yeah, probably not too familiar with the
Oh,
dots.
okay. See, I learned the dots. See, like someone out there remembers the dots.
Yeah.
And I like count like that to this day. Like I'll be like, okay, like 7. I'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Cause like the dots. Like okay.
The dots are like ones.
No, like so. Like the number 1 would have a dot at the top of it. One
Okay.
dot. A 2 would have a dot at the top of the 2 on like the end, and at the bottom of the 2 on the end.
Oh.
So it's like 1, and the 2 would be like 1, 2. 3 would have a dot on like the end of the little stems. So it's like 1, 2, 3. So it's like 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
This is probably like first grade math.
I did not learn
Like
that way.
so.
Sounds cool.
It's still getting me by at my age. So
Hey,
it was.
once you learn it that young, it's ingrained.
Yeah, it was well received.
Yes.
So yeah, ROI, counting them dollars.
Oh my god.
I use my dots when I count my dollars for the haters.
Make it ring. You silly.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this has been fun.
Yeah. First episode. I feel like we just dove right in.
We dove in. I hope we didn't overwhelm anyone or scare anyone away.
Yeah.
Or I wasn't too hippy dippy universe. Oh, for the record, I do believe in God, because I know some of y'all probably think like heathen, like she's over here, like witchcraft, and no, it's not
Witchcraft is not even real.
No. No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe it would be easy, but yeah.
No, I just, we are the universe. We are. God created us, and God is the universe.
Pretty much.
God is the universe.
Well, not pretty much, but that is.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I respect whatever it is anyone believes.
You can
like
call it any name or
anything you want to call it. Anything that makes you a respectable person that doesn't infringe on my right to be a respectable person, I'm all for. Mm-hmm. Great. Do that.
Yeah.
So, well, all right. It's been great chatting, and we hope that you will join us next week for another episode of Puff Puff Sass. Ow.
Ow. Signing out.